Hello guys, how you all doing? Well, someone asked me a very interesting question with regards to the structure on gold. Because if you still remember very well, I think it was about a week back where we had made an analysis on gold, and we concluded that currently, because I think the price was still somewhere there, where we said this is where you are buying, and the price has a potential of going to at least this point, and it did bounce, and now it's currently there, and we still have a decent room to go up. But now, on daily, we had said that if you had missed an entry on daily, you could enter by, because this is the trend line broken, and this is the zone where we said you can enter from there. And now the question that the person asked, she said that because our plan was to buy from here on the retest this, but that didn't happen. Price missed the zone by that much. Now the question that she had was, if the price comes back to this, are we still allowed to buy from that zone? That's the question. So that's what I'm going to answer in this video. So I just thought I should just make a video where I answer it publicly and not just to her comment specifically. So I'll just make a video for everyone. I think it will be helpful for everyone if I answer it that way. So now let's start. Remember, on monthly nothing much has changed, so that we just remind each other. On monthly we did hit this, and then we're saying we're expecting some reaction there. Even if it doesn't go straight there all at once, you can play around, but at this point in time we are leaning towards going to the upside. And then same thing on weekly, where we had said that we are bouncing off from this, and then the next opposing structure is that one there. And then on daily we did have this broken, and we went up. Now let me start answering the question. You need to be very mindful that we are looking at daily, right? Keep that in mind. And daily went there and came here, went up there. Definitely this is higher than that. So what does that mean? That means I hope you all agree, that means we have this. But that doesn't change the fact that this is the demand that, or the support that gave us the break out of the trend line and stuff. This one here, this is the one that the plan was to buy from, and we said that we missed it there. And now we're saying what we had, the higher high, which means we can put a trend line. So I'll show you. I'll just approach it slow. I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page, right? So we did have this, and this is our new support that did what? That gave us the higher high. All right, and it is located around the trend line. But now the challenging part with that one is that it didn't give us at least it didn't give us at least two. So this is not something that is worth. You can't just go and buy from there. If you want to take a trade from there, you need to wait for confirmation and stuff. But at this point in time, we can just say we have to wait for confirmation. If we hit the trend line and we're still inside this zone, we can wait for confirmation to execute from there. I hope we are still on the same page, because remember, the plan is just to go to, I think that area starts from around there. The plan is to go there. But now, what if the price was to break this and come here? Now that's the question. Am I still allowed to execute? Now we'll say you need to be careful with that one. Why? Because this zone, it's our daily support, right? And for the price to come back to it, it has to do what? It has to break the trend line. So why are we still buying why are we still buying from daily if the daily bullish trend line is broken? I hope you understand the question. Because remember, the reason why we have a trend line, the reason why when the price is moving up we have a trend line, is so that when it comes back, we can buy. But the day the trend line is broken, we stop buying from this time frame. Why? Because this time frame is no longer going up. The structure has changed on that time frame. So it's the same thing. Apply the same concept here, the same logic here. If the trend line, the bullish trend line on daily is broken, why am I then thinking of buying from a daily support if the daily is no longer going up? I hope that makes sense. So for those ones, that question is for those ones who want to execute daily. But there are those ones who are trading, they don't go, because remember, at the end of the day, it depends on the time frames that you're trading. Let's say, for instance, I'm trading daily H4 and H1, right? So if I'm trading this, it means this is my main trend. This is my main trend, meaning for every time we hit the zone on this, I'll be expecting to get trades maybe in the opposite direction should this one give me confirmation. So what do I mean by that? If I'm trading the very same sequence and we hit the daily, remember, if it hits the daily support, if I'm trading daily H4, H1, I can say we have hit the higher time frame support, because remember, daily is the highest on my sequence. If I'm trading maybe daily 4 and 1, daily is the highest on my sequence. When we hit that, I'll be looking to get opportunities because of what? I'll be saying price is inside my higher time frame. So if when it was going down on H1, it was giving me this, then it gives me breakout, I can try and buy from that. So the same way, even if you want to buy from this, remember, it doesn't change that just because the trend line is broken. Remember, the key structures that we can have, I said it's what? Support, resistance, or trend line. But the biggest one, or the most important one, is this. Is this over trend line. So that's why, just because the trend line is broken, it doesn't change the fact that this zone broke the old trend structure. Remember, the old trend was to the downside, and all of that changed when this zone gave us this move. So it still doesn't change the fact that this support broke that. So that's why if I get that confirmation and I'm trading daily H4, H1, I can say I'm going to trade like that. When you get the breakout, I have to wait for confirmation for it to come back. I can trade it like that. But if I'm trading, if I want to execute on daily, I can only execute from this one. But if it had given me a second one, before coming back, I can execute from that. But in this case, Leona, I can't execute from it because of what? It doesn't give us 2:1, right? But if I'm executing daily and it comes here, I can execute this one. Why? I can't just go and execute because of what? The trend line has been broken. I have to wait for confirmation on smaller time frames. Yes, the price comes back to daily, it comes to daily, and I say daily support has gained control. The price is inside the daily support. Let me drop down to a smaller time frame, maybe H4. You will find that the way the price moves on H4, it's not the same as how it was moving on daily. You will find that it was giving you this. But now in this case, look at this. You can see that the trend line, the new trend line is here, right? We all agree. And I hope you will agree with me that at some point we did this, we did that, and we did this. Or we can say there was a time where we had this, which is higher than that. This was our short-term trend line. It was not the uptrend per se, but we were just a pullback, right? And when did we break that short-term trend line? Here, right? So it means this pause that we had here, let me remove everything. This pause here is the one that gave us all this strong move that broke the trend line that we had there. Meaning this resistance on H4, it also accomplished something. It was not just the resistance because it's there on the chart, but it also gave us something. It broke the short-term trend, short-term momentum. It broke that. So now look what the price did when it came back. When it came back, it took another pause there, and then this pause gave us the short move that did what? That broke the previous resistance. It means this one is the one that gave us that. It took out this. This does not exist anymore. The characteristic of this has been inherited by this. Now this is the only zone on H4 that we need to be talking about. So meaning now the prices is inside this, and we are still above the trend line. So you can think of taking your chances there. We are still above the trend line, and yes, and this very same support did what? It broke this resistance that previously it had broken that. Right? So this is the previous resistance that gave us what? A break of this trend line. Now this support broke that resistance, meaning it took the characteristic of that. This is no longer there. So that's why now the price is inside and it's forming that. You can expect to take your short a long from there. Should it go above your pin bar and stuff, you can take your chances there, and the zone is very small and you do have at least 2:1 there. But if it comes here, you can't execute the whole zone on daily because of what? The daily trend line won't be holding. But you can still do what I did here and drill down to a smaller time frame just to see if you can have, if let's say it break this and then it goes down like this and touches this, then you can put this and say, now the daily has gained control. But I can't just go and execute this and say, let me just put a buy limit there and buy from this. I can't do that. Why? Because the very same daily zone that gained control, there is a negative side of it, which is what? The trend line. The trend is no longer going up, or the trend line is no longer holding. Yes, we understand the zone broke that old trend line, blah blah blah, but not everything is pointing up. So that's why if I decide to take a trade from there, I need to be careful. So I'd rather, if the price, like I said, if it comes down like that, I'd rather have a trend line here and hope if it reacts to this from this, I'm not gonna take it. I just mark it and say this is the thing, the zone on H4. Let me just see this one. I hope you can all see this one. So if I'm marking it, it will be somewhere there. So if the price comes down like this and then gets inside this daily zone and penetrates it until it touches the H4, I'm not interested. I'm not doing anything. If the H4, I mean the daily trend line was still holding and we come like this, then I will just go and put a buy limit. Why? Because everything is pointing up. But in this case, if not everything is pointing up, that's why I can't go and put a buy limit at this zone. I'd rather have this trend line and say, yes, the daily has gained control, but I need to be convinced that it is going to hold the price and the price is going to bounce. So how am I going to be convinced? All it has to do is to start reacting from that daily zone and go up and break the trend line on H4 and also go above this. Then I can say, if it comes back, now I can hope that it will continue going up, because it would have convinced me that this very same daily zone that gained control, the price is bouncing from it and it violated some key structures on H4, and then when it comes back I can enter like that. So that's all that's how I wanted to answer her and said the only time you are allowed to execute from this, because not everything will be pointing up at the time, you can't just go and enter. You must wait for the structure on smaller time frame on your sequence to be violated. Then you can say, yeah, it seems like this daily zone is the price is reacting to it. That's why it managed to go up and violate all these smaller structures. Then now I can look for area of support and buy. But if, I hope this makes sense, guys. If let's say I'm trading the very same, this is the last thing I'm going to mention, the very same daily H4 and H1, and daily looks like this. This is the daily trend line, and maybe there is daily support there, and now the price gave us 2:1, blah blah blah, is coming back to the daily support. And remember, daily is the highest time frame on your the highest time frame on your sequence. You are not executing from that, you just want the trend or the direction. You are executing from here, and sometimes if you feel like H4 zone is smaller, you can also execute from there. But remember, in this case we're looking, this is the daily thing that I drew there, né? And you're saying the price is coming back to this daily support and I want to buy from it, then let me go down to my H4 or H1 where I'll be executing. You go down to H4 and H1, and then you find that inside the very same daily, you have a nice maybe H1 or H4 support. that is going to be, remember the daily is going to be this big like here, but when you go down to H4 you'll find that the H4 zone is usually smaller than that one. So you find the same thing when you go up there, you find a smaller H4 or H1. In this case you can just go and put a buy limit. Why? Because on our bigger time frame we still have our trend line pointing up. Everything is still pointing up. That's why I can say I don't have to wait for confirmation. I'll say when the price gets there, I'll just go and buy. When the price gets there, I'll just go and buy. That's how you do it. But in this case that we're having here is a different story. When it comes here, I can't just go and buy. Why? Because the trend line is not holding. I have to wait for that break of a smaller structure on my smallest time frame, and then I can execute from there. I hope it makes sense. All right, I'm gonna end it here. I'll see you in the next one. This is the last video for today. All right.